Hello everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are. Today I want to talk about, really think for yourself and do not live a life with regrets, right? So first I would like you to look at this chart, right? And just look at this chart, just look at the numbers, and without knowing what this number is, and some of you might know what is this, but assuming if you do not know, right, just pretend for 1 second that you do not know what is this, right, and you're just presented with these numbers, and just assume that these are the prices of an investment product, right, throughout the last 6 or 7 years. What will you say? And the logos on the top left are the companies that are backing, or supporting this investment product. What will your first reaction be? Well, I'm sure if you're like me, right, if you really don't know this and pretend for 1 second that you don't know this, you would just think, what a fantastic investment product, right? I really want to get a hand on this product, right? This kind of returns from just $4 can go up to $3,200, right? That's like, many times, right, over just the last 6 years alone. And so, such strong backers, really the industry titans are backing this product. I definitely want to have a hand in it. But what happens in reality is that, of course, many of you know this is actually Bitcoin, the start or the father of all cryptocurrencies. Now I want to do this video because it is very important. I've been reading quite a lot now, and it just dawned on me that a lot of people may have been out of the industry because they are the weaker hands. They have been shaken out. They have been really fearful of the year-long crypto winter that still has not ended. And some people are, because of maybe their friends' experience who have been burnt through the last year long winter, they may have bought at the top and then they totally burnt and still not recovered. And because of their friends or their loved ones' story that they haven't even been in, they are already afraid to go in, right? And of course, there are some of you who are the brave ones, right, or the minority like myself, who continue to hold on despite the adversity in this period. But regardless, I want to do a very fact-based video to encapsulate all that developments that's happening to date, right? And to see what actually determined the price of Bitcoin, the father of all cryptocurrencies, and really then, as just a normal people, right? Forget about whether you're millionaire or billionaire, just normal people like you and me, what is the best course of action to take with regards to this Bitcoin? So let's just dive into it. So first, let's talk about the supply, right? Really, the price of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies is really just a function of supply and demand, right? So it's simple economics. When demand is much more than supply, for people, so if demand is more than supply, then obviously to make sure those demands are met, prices have to be bidded up, right, just to meet those demands. Similarly, if you flip it around, if supply is too much of something, but demand is not enough, then prices have to come down because you actually may have to make it lower, lower price to incentivize people to want a piece or even free, right, to get a piece of your product, right? So now, firstly, it is very important to know that many of you know that there are 21 million units of Bitcoin that will be capped, right? And that amount will be realized or will be in total by year 2140. So, but some of you may already know, but you may not know that there are about 4 million units of Bitcoins that were lost, gone forever, right? Some of this just could be the early miners. They just didn't know that they were sitting on something so lucrative, and then they just carelessly throw away their hard drive, or they forgot their passwords, right? And this chart really showed, and it was from chain analysis, and this was in end 2017, that shows about 3.6 million of units of Bitcoin were lost forever. So if you minus that, so 21 million minus about 4 million, so that gives you about 17 million. And to date, the total supply to date is about 17.5 million units only. And, for the remaining period to year 2140, there's about 4 million more to be mined, and that's it, right? So this is a real scarcity. This is a mathematical form of scarcity, real limitation set by the codes, yeah. In comparison to something that is really compared a lot to Bitcoin, which is the gold, right? The gold, there's a perceived scarcity or perceived limitation because there could be many stars out there, and as long as they explode, right, and if new technology were to be discovered that can dig up a lot of gold that are lying under the deep sea, right, or very deep down in the earth, then there will just more supply of gold. Whereas for Bitcoin, it is really a real limited supply, yeah, versus gold is still a perceived limited supply. So in that sense, it's already even better than gold, which has been long regarded for thousands of years as the superior form of money, yeah. So now we have looked at the supply, right? So if you put in context, what does 17 million or even 21 million, what does that mean, yeah? But so let's just look at it realistically. The real number is probably 17 to 18 million Bitcoins that are going to be have realistically, yeah. And so just give you a sense, in this chart, the number of millionaires and above in the world today is estimated to be between 17 million to 23 million. 23 million is the number from Credit Suisse Wealth Report, a very reputable publication, and this is from Fortune Media. So anyway, both are quite credible, so let's just give that range, right? So if it's 17 million units of Bitcoin, then you're talking about 17 million millionaires and above. That means you're talking about 1 millionaire can only get 1 Bitcoin, yeah? And if there are 36 million millionaires and above, that means high net worth people and above, then each millionaire and above can't even get hold of 1 unit of Bitcoin. Another way to look at it is that, the current world population is 7.7 billion. This is from worldometers.info, world population website. You can have a look at it yourself. So if you will just do the sums, right, they are about 21 million units. Let's just take the higher number, right? 21 million units of Bitcoin. Divide by 7.7 billion people in the world. Each person can only have 0.003 units of Bitcoin or 300,000 Satoshi, which at today's price, right, of about 4,000 each unit of Bitcoin is only about $11 US, right? That is very, very little by most people's standard, yeah? And just to give you a sense, right, and even if you take 18 million, right, accounting for those Bitcoins that are lost or gone forever, then 18 million divided by 7.7 billion people in the world, each person can only have 0.02 units of Bitcoin. So really, really little. So that's about $9 worth of Bitcoin. So in that sense, right, it can be argued that everyone should have at least that amount of Bitcoin, yeah? Why? Because $10 is quite equivalent to minimum wage in the US, right? Just as an example, because that's the major country in the world. So just as an example. So then the question is then, right? Why or should you actually just allocate $10, right, from your wealth into Bitcoin? So the key reason why you should do that, why you should think about allocating just $10 or more of your wealth into Bitcoin is that first main reason is that Bitcoin is clearly a better form of money, right? It is in fact the best form of money to date created, right, or exist. Why? Just take a look at the current website, which is usdebtclock.org. Yeah, and it shows that the US national debt right here, the top left circle or rectangle here, that shows that US national debt is now 22 trillion. Yeah, it's actually 36912 decimal place. Yeah, so $22 trillion of national debt. Even more than the GDP. Their GDP is only about 21 trillion, just to give you a sense. So national debt or amount that the government or corporates or US as a whole owe to other people, other governments, right, is 105% of their GDP, of their income. That's basically what it means. And US is just an example. That is also true for many, many countries out there. That is a very high portion, if not also over 100% of their GDP, their total income. Why is that bad? Now, some form of debt is good, but excessive debt and rapid increase in debt is not good. And that had exactly what happened in the last 10 years. We have seen that rapid increase. It was because of the 2008 financial crisis, and because the government had to bail out the banks, that they had to rapidly print money because they do not have enough reserves, right? They don't have enough money in their bank account, so to speak. So they have to create the money. And when they create money, means they print money, and they call that quantitative easing in nicer terms. And that basically led to rapid supply of money in the market. And that really dilute the value of money. When something gets too much in supply versus demand is not too high, the value of US dollars and many other currencies around the world, fiat money around the world, all decline in value. And that is why goods doesn't increase in prices so much, but because your dollar, your fiat money decrease in value so fast, you have to pay more to get the same amount of goods. And that is why a lot of people experienced very rapid increases in the amount of the prices that they are paying. So they call it inflationary pressure, right? And that is the problem. Inflation will actually rob people of their wealth because, and wages doesn't rise as fast as prices of goods simply because the money value is decreasing super fast. But in comparison, and why can fiat money can just be created like that? Why do we let the government just print out money like that? A lot of people do not know until it has happened. Now, of course, a lot of people are more realizing of this sad truth, but it already happened. But of course, in 2009, January, Bitcoin was born, and that started an alternative, a very viable alternative for people to consider. And that's why a lot of people in Venezuela, in Greece, right, where they experienced hyperinflation, they really flock to using Bitcoin. Why is Bitcoin so good compared to the fiat money we have today? Because there's a fixed supply of 21 million or even 18 million if you consider the lost coins that are forever gone. So this number cannot be inflated. So that means it's going to be very stable. The only way to increase that is to increase the prices per Bitcoin. So it's making it harder, more scarce, right, to get your hand on each. So that is the thing. The other reason is we are living in a real digital world, right? Everything is digital now. And there is a core thesis, and is mainly originated by Anthony Pompliano, a very famous crypto influencer, who said that he believed that every asset that can be digitized or tokenized will be digitized in the future. And that means every equity, bond, right, forex product that can be digitized, and everything can be digitized right now. Will be digitized, and that really mean a lot for the whole digital economy that started off by Bitcoin. And third is the reason that a lot of talent already flow into this space, into the crypto space. So that is clearly the one of the biggest innovation to date. So some of you may not know, right, how much is $22 trillion of national debt. And this chart will just give you a sense. 1 million seconds is about 11 days. 1 billion seconds, which is 1,000 times of that, is about 31 years. Now, 31 years is a lot more than 11 days, And 1 trillion seconds is about 31,000 years, right? That's beyond any of, person's age. But 22 trillion seconds is 682,000 years. So that's really a lot, just to give you that sense. So yes, the national debt of the country is really a lot. And that is why we've seen so much inflation. And now, right, it was just yesterday that Murad Mahmudo, again a very key voice in crypto, in Twitter, he has tweeted that says mainstream cypherpunk adoption then mainstream geek adoption, then mainstream speculator adoption, then fund adoption, then high net worth individual adoption, then sovereign wealth fund adoption, then saver adoption, then merchant adoption, consumer adoption, then lastly government adoption. Of course, he's talking about Bitcoin. Now, and if you look at this chart, I just want to quickly highlight who are the key players, right, that shows some of this adoption. First, we have speculators, right? And of course, Coinbase and Binance are the large exchanges, the popular crypto exchanges that today everyone knows them, right? Or most people know them, that they have largely facilitated the retail-led boom or crypto boom in end 2017. Yeah, because of them, right, a lot of retailers are able to buy in, are able to trade, and they were able to get in the market at that boom. And a lot of them, right, because of the purchase that has driven up Bitcoin to almost 20,000 in early 2018. But next up, we have very big names. Eyes on New York Stock Exchange owner will be going to launch BACT, BACKT, right? It's going to be sometime this year. And they are going to offer very easy ways for people to buy, to sell, to store crypto. ErisX is another one, which is again led by very, very major name in Wall Street, namely TD Ameritrade, which is one of the top brokers, right? And NASDAQ, one of the key exchange in the world. So they are also offering trading of Bitcoin and major cryptocurrencies and futures trading as well. And both BACT and ErisX will offer a futures contract backed by physical coins, and that is very, very key. Yeah. Next, you have, right, under fund and or high net worth individual. Who are the people who have shown that they are adoption already? Grayscale Digital is a fund, right? They basically cater to really rich individuals. Yeah. They already have this was end last year, that they already reported to have over 200,000 units of Bitcoin. That is more than 1% of total supply today. Yeah. And so that ought to tell, and they're targeting the high rich people. Julius Baer, latest, right, in last week, they were just reported that they are going to offer crypto services as well, because they said that they will increase demand from their clients. And as you know, Julius Baer is a private bank. I mean, their clients are, not only millionaire, they're talking about, billionaires and above. Yeah, and they are the number 5 largest private bank in Asia, and I believe they must be the top 5 as well in the world globally. And again, very recently we just found out that, right, already there are 2 sovereign wealth funds already have some exposure in the cryptocurrency market. First, we have Temasek, which is one sovereign wealth fund of Singapore, invested in Binance last year, and most recently GIC was rumored to have invested in Coinbase in last year as well. And this is despite the crypto winter, right? And the fact that these 2 sovereign wealth fund, and combined, right, they are the third largest sovereign wealth fund in the world. Yeah, very, very huge fund here, not small, that they have exposure. So they believed that investing in these companies will definitely give them higher returns. That's why they invest, right? And so the fact is, crypto exchange will only prosper because the overall crypto market go into mainstream, right? So that ought to tell you. And of course, under saver, I really regard this now as pensioners or normal people like you and me. But pensioners are the key, because they are they are the one who's sitting on billions or trillions of dollars. We already have the first government pension fund, which is Fairfax County, Virginia, investing a very small amount of money into crypto fund, right, which is led by Morgan Creek Digital. That is 2 days just before Valentine's Day this year, right? And this is really, really a milestone, because this is the first time a pension fund investing into crypto. And the reason why, because they believed that this will really give them the outsized return and diversify their returns beyond just the traditional assets of equity and bonds. Yeah. And on this note also, it is important to highlight that Morgan Creek partner and founder Anthony Pompliano, he has actually openly placed a bet, right, to say that it's a $1 million bet, that he's offering that bet where his position is that Bitcoin will overtake S&P 500 performance in the next 10 years. That means Bitcoin will outperform S&P 500 in the next 10 years. And his position is, Bitcoin will outperform. And of course, the other person who want to take the bet will have to take the bet that S&P 500 will outperform Bitcoin over the next 10 years. And it's $1 million and no one is willing to take that bet. Yeah, despite so many people who openly hate Bitcoin in the traditional world, but no one is willing to take up that bet, right? So that ought to tell you what people are doing with their money. So merchant adoption is also coming, right? There are a lot of merchants already today accepting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but the major ones are really Starbucks and Microsoft, and that's going to come when Bakkt launches, and they're already tied up with, they already partnered with Starbucks and Microsoft to offer, easy usage of crypto. Yeah, and consumers also, you have Lightning Labs doing a lot of work on Lightning Network, making it very, very easy to pay and process payment using Lightning Network, right, on Bitcoin. And Ion, which is a company to making it very easy, is a one-stop shop to gather all information related to Lightning Network. So if you want to find out about how to use it, right, how to get your hands on Lightning Network, how do you open the node, how do you actually pay, where can you actually spend your Bitcoin using Lightning Network, you should check out ionradar.tech website, right, where you can get all the details. And under institutions, which is the one of the last, or government, right, government/institutions, you have already Fidelity announcing that they're already in the final labs or final stage of offering their custody solution, that they're doing final testing, that they're going to offer crypto custody very, very soon. Custody is a key requirement for institutions to come into holding crypto directly, because they need a safekeeping solutions. Yeah, and all these big names just ought to tell you the huge demand, right, underlying Bitcoin and major cryptocurrencies. And Murat also have this chart, right, and he showed that we are actually here. So it started out by being digital collectible for just nerds, ANCAPs, and cypherpunks. Then increasingly it's improved the decentralization, censorship resistance. Then it goes on the speculation that more people will want to buy and hold it. Next, greater security and protocol robustness, withstanding social and technical attacks, accumulating battle scars, proving that the system is hard to change, thus reliable, reducing anxiety and perceived protocol risk. And finally, we are here. So what is so best or so unique and cannot be ever changed about Bitcoin and cannot be overtaken by any other cryptocurrency is that Bitcoin has more than 10 years of history, and it has another day it survived, just proven that it is really, really strong. Yeah, and even in terms of exchanges as well, we have gone through already the Mt. Gox phase. We have gone through a lot of hacked exchanges, and today we have police and the community able to recover back hacked coins and return back to the investors. We have gone to that stage already of security. So now, right, to move on next, we just need greater perceived safety. We need more education, more understanding, right? More custody solutions, because that's when institutionalization will come in, more regulatory clarity, greater liquidity, yeah, and even greater reliability, greater trust, and then it can move on to be a store of value. Then for it to become next medium of exchange, he thinks it will need to be growing network value. That means more and more people using it, right? Lower these incentives to spend, yeah? Even greater liquidity, better price stability, and greater acceptability and recognizability. That means you really need more merchants to adopt it, then you can go to next stage. Yeah, so next then really is going back to the thesis of saying, should you just allocate $10 of your money into this Bitcoin? And the answer is probably yes, right? At least in my opinion. This is not financial advice, definitely, but if you look at this chart, this is the daily price change over the last 10 years of Bitcoin, and you can see that, right, in 2010 is 0.8% daily volatility or daily change. Then it has actually reduced to almost 0.2% in 2012. Then it has spiked up again in 2013 where there was almost like a mini bull. Then 2014 it crashes, so down to minus 0.2. But in 2015 2016 again is at very low volatility only. Again 2017 was a mega bull, right? Then it has gone up to 0.8% again, but in 2018 it has gone down again to close to the 0% volatility. So it's becoming more and more stable, yeah? So that ought to tell you something, yeah? Next. And in terms of the yearly low, in terms of prices as well, each year Bitcoin has seen increasing yearly low, yeah? And these prices are all the yearly low, meaning it is the lowest in that year. So 2018, most of you will be familiar. The lowest point was 3,200. Of course, the peak was 20,000. Yeah, and that is why a lot of people were saying that every time, based on history at least, every time after a crash where the Bitcoin crashes more than 70%, the next rally they will see a 5 times to 17 times increase in the price of Bitcoin versus its previous high. That means previous high was 20,000, so the next rally could see prices of Bitcoin going up to 5 times, which is 20,000, so 100,000 to 17 times higher, which is 100,000 to 340,000 level. Yeah, from today it's 4,000 there. Yeah, so the other thing is, I just want to end it on this note where Sir John Templeton, the greatest investor in history, says the 4 most dangerous words in investing are "this time is different." If you think this time is different, right, chances are most likely you might be proven wrong. Yeah, I'm not saying you will be, but there's a high chance you might be. Now, the thing is this. Today is about 4,000 level. I'm just rounding it up. It's about 3,850. Just make it 4,000. And assume it's going up to 100,000. You're talking about a 25 times increase. And if it goes to about midpoint of 250,000, which is what Tim Draper, the billionaire venture capitalist, has predicted, in 4 years, that is about 60 times increase from the current price. So if you just invest $10 times 60, that is $600, right? Your $10 will turn into $600. But of course, if everyone is wrong, including myself is wrong, then you just lose that $10, right? Now, you might think, how can I get at $10? I know for some people, $10 is still difficult. So there are 2 ways, right? One is you increase your earnings, means you work an extra hour because that's the minimum wage, or you can save, meaning you don't spend on unnecessary things, right? That might be that one dress that you would like, or one, if you want to go for a nicer meal today with your girlfriend, why not go for a cheaper order in or cook yourself, right? That you can save $10 or more, right? So yeah, of course, if you can afford more, I hope after all these facts, right, that just encapsulate will help you convince you to actually it is still a very sound investment, right? And the key is it is a very asymmetric risk investment. Yeah, if you lose $10, but it could go up to $600. Yeah, $600 it's not a lot, but just remember you started off with just $10, and that is the kind of potential we are talking about here. And some people think 250,000 may not be even such a bullish. Some people have even projected a 1 million, right? So yes, that's even 4 times of that. So 60 times 4, that's 240 times increase from the current level. So yes, I mean, yeah, who knows, but no one knows. But just remember, what are you losing and what are you gaining? So I hope you can digest this. I hope you can actually also just play all these facts back in your mind. Look at where the talent going, where the capital flows are going, right? And think for yourself, right? Do not need to bother about what people think of you, because honestly, it's your money and no one should have control over your thoughts, over your money. Think for yourself, decide for yourself, right? And yes, right, do not live a life with regrets. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please share this around. Please subscribe, leave a like, and leave your comments, right? And yes, and I see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for your support and thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, everyone. Thank you.